because so far the Israelis has been practicing, as everybody knows, genocide in Palestine, and the resistance have been fighting, and in fact mostly on the defensive side, because it's basically defending themselves and the population from the atrocities of the colonial racist Zionist regime. And so far Palestinian resistance have been on the defensive side. For the first time we see the recovering of territories is a major victory for Palestinian resistance. As you know, the only reason we don't talk about genocide internationally in Palestine is the veto of the US empire, US imperialism in the United Nations. If without that veto, today everybody will talk about genocide in Palestine, because what they do there is ethnic cleansing, and ethnic cleansing is defined in the international law as genocide.
And what do you think about the impact of this operation on the future of Palestinian issue and other regional issues?
Well, I think this is the beginning of the end. I think this event yesterday is a major event in terms of the history of Palestine, because I think this is the beginning of the end. I think we might see the fall of the Zionist colonial, racist, genocidal regime in our lifetime. I think the weakness of the project of Zionism is shown in this event. If you saw, thousands and thousands of Israelis are leaving the country because they cannot stand a struggle like this. This is not their land, and therefore they're not ready to give their life for that land, because they are settler colonials. Settler colonialism is the practice there of the occupation of Palestine. And so the population, the settlers, are not ready to really put a struggle like this. And therefore what I see here is the beginning of the end. Sooner or later, and I hope it's sooner than later, the Zionist state will be destroyed, and we'll have a free Palestine, and a Palestine that it should be, with the recognition of all the people who live in that territory. And that's what Israelis are not ready to do. They want to keep a state that is a fundamentalist Jewish state that do not recognize the rights of anybody. Not even Christian Palestinians are recognized there, even though a lot of Christians, fundamentalists from the United States, are funding this genocidal process against Palestinian Muslims, but also Palestinian Christians. And this is outrageous, what we're seeing in Palestine. The international community has been complicit, financing and supporting these atrocities. And it was time that now we have the resistance moving forward and taking over territories and moving forward towards the liberation of Palestine.
And about the impact of this operation on normalization of relations between some Arab countries and Israel.
Well,
do you think it will negative?
These regimes are sold out regimes that are on their knees vis-a-vis US empire and Zionist project. All these regimes, shameful regimes who are making agreements with this genocidal state called Israel, and making agreements and going to their knees with US empire and Zionism. And now it's going to be, in the eyes of their own people, it's going to be very difficult to sustain this kind of complicities and negotiations with the enemy, because the people of all these countries, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, all these countries are opposed to Zionism. Agreements with the Zionist genocidal colonial racist state. Shame for them. shame for them. They are betraying their own people because the people in those countries do not support these genocidal policies, and they are betraying also the Arab world and Muslim world at large because they are at their knees in complicity with U.S. empire and the Zionist project. Now it's going to be more difficult for them to continue collaborating with the Zionist state, because with this operation and this offensive of the Palestinian resistance, it's going to be more difficult for them now to put their backs on the Palestinian people, especially when the majority of the population in their own countries are with the Palestinians and are with Palestinian liberation.
Some people believe that the United States is busy with the Ukraine war and cannot help Israel in this war. What do you think of that?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Some people believe that the United States is busy with the Ukraine war and cannot help Israel in this war. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, the Ukraine war is fabricated by Washington, okay? That's a long conversation to have, but there is a document online by the RAND Corporation, which is a think tank of the Pentagon and the CIA. That document has been there since 2019. If you want to see the script of the film that we're seeing in Ukraine, read that document. It's called Overextending Russia. Overextending Russia. I don't want to go in detail here because then we go into another conversation. But this is a fabricated war. Now look at this. While the Western empires led by the USA are sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and asking the Ukrainians to resist against the Russians, that right of resistance is not recognized to the Palestinians. To the Palestinians, if you look at the Western press after what happened yesterday and what is happening today, they are all saying that Palestinians shouldn't be doing this. They're all criticizing Palestine as if this is an action of the Palestinians that is decontextualized, like of the blue they're suddenly attacking Israel, without talking about the expropriation of land, without talking about the torture of prisoners, without talking about the killing of systematic killing of human beings, the arrest and torture of children, of women, the occupation of Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, when the Israeli forces went there shooting and beating people and all of that. I mean, it's as if the Western press is representing this as if the Palestinians suddenly are attacking the poor Israelis. I'm sorry, the Israelis are the victimizers here, and Palestinians are the victims in this conflict, and all they're doing now is for the first time going on the offensive. For all these years and decades, the Zionist state have been going on the offensive. Now they're going on the defensive for the first time. So the relational forces are changing, and now that the Palestinians are resisting in an organized way, in a more effective way, in a more successful way, now all these Western empires are not recognizing the right of the Palestinians to defend themselves. In the meantime, they're asking the Ukrainians to defend themselves. They have somewhere they had the right. Why? Because they're white Europeans, that they had the right to defend themselves, and now people from the Arab world, Palestinians, have no right to defend themselves. This is what is behind this, a racist logic that only white people have right to defend themselves, while non-white people have no right to defend themselves. They should be submitting to the atrocities of Israel. They should be submitting to the genocide of Israel against Palestinian people. I mean, this is the question. It's really, you could see the bankruptcy of Western imperialism right now in what is happening in Palestine. You could see the bankruptcy of the fake news of the mainstream media that is lying constantly about many issues, but especially the Palestinian struggle.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dear professor. for joining us. I hope to see you in Iran soon. Thank you.
Thank you.